So this month, Helena and I, the Emotion Code Divas, are focusing on kind of a holistic approach to living a healthier life. And today we're going to be talking about how to live, to be a sexier you, a healthier you, and a wealthier you. So Helena is going to bring in some of our hypnosis tools, and I'm going to be talking about law of attraction. And we're going to talk about some very practical ways to be healthy. I'm going to say healthy, wealthy, and wise. I guess we could say that too. But before we get started, Helena's going to just kind of clear up and give a definition of what we're talking about when we say sexier. You may think it has to do with the actual act of sex. Um, it may or may not, but in many cases it doesn't, because it's really all about how you feel. So I'm Dana J. Smithers. Helena and I are both certified emotion code practitioners by Dr. Bradley Nelson. This is his latest emotion code book that you can buy on Amazon. We're not actually going to go over the how to do emotion code, but the reason that we're talking about what we're talking about today is because you can take the most holistic approach to your life. You can change your beliefs. You can look at different foods. You can look at healthier nutritional supplements. However, if the trapped negative emotions are still there, then they are going to block you from having a sexier, healthier, wealthier life. So that's why we're talking about this today. Yep, removing the trapped emotions, the 60 trapped emotions from the emotion code chart. I like to look at chakras as well and see what's going on and do some inner child work. And also, Helena has some different tools, so I'll just invite Helena to introduce herself. So good morning, Helena.
Good morning, Dana. I am Helena Jenikin, and I am a certified emotion code practitioner as well as a certified clinical hypnotherapist. And many years ago, Dan, I wonder if you remember, I put on an event called Sexy, Healthy, Wealthy Women.
Absolutely, I remembered. I even know where I was sitting.
Yes. And so I had organized this event at a big theater and brought out 7 presenters from all over, actually. One of them flew in from the United States. And joined us up in North Vancouver. And they presented on their particular topics of either sexy, healthier, or wealthier. And they shared a lot of wonderful tips with the audience. And the women that were in the audience were, including my mother, were really had a different idea now of what sexy, healthy, and wealthy could really be. So the idea of sexy, I'd like to clear that up. It does not mean that you wear a low-cut top and expose all your skin and are oozing out and kissing and all that kind of stuff. What I feel it is, and I believe Marilyn Monroe had this, she just had this thing about her. It was a je ne sais quoi. It was a mindset of just being in her confident self. There's actually a really interesting story about Marilyn Monroe. She was being interviewed by a reporter, and they were in New York City at the time. And this reporter went to her hotel room, and he was kind of underwhelmed when he met her. She had no makeup on. She was just wearing, her sweats or whatever, very casual clothing. And she did that on purpose because she goes, I want to show you the difference between me as a woman and when I step into my persona as Marilyn Monroe. She didn't change her clothes at all, but they went out for a walk, and she says, watch, nobody knows who I am right now. She goes, but wait, let Marilyn come out. And all of a sudden, she just changed her posture. Her energy exuded from herself completely differently. And all of a sudden, people from all over the street all of a sudden noticed her and recognized her as Marilyn Monroe and flocked to her. Now, the reporter captured all of this. Now, what was different? Did she change her outfit? No. But what I believe that she did was able to change the energy about herself and do many of the tips that I have on a graphic that I'd love to share with people. If you type in the words 21 tips in the comments, I'll send you the 21 tips that we're talking about today.
So that's a perfect segue into that first one. Helena has a 10 tips to sexier life, but just post that in the feed there that you'd like to receive it. But the first one is exactly what you're talking about, Helena.
Hmm.
Change your state by power posing, right? So that's what she did all of a sudden, because we all know when we don't feel really good inside, then the outside doesn't always look so good either. But the tip is stand tall, shoulders back, tummy in, chin up, hands on your hips. Now you're channeling your inner Wonder Woman or Superman, whatever. I mean, this can apply to men and women, but certainly it's a feeling, right? It's just what she said. It's like this different persona that you can put on. So I'm just going to let you go ahead with the tips because we've got a lot to share today. So thanks for that about Marilyn.
Yes, good. So the second tip, 10 tips to a sexier life, is build your confidence, self-worth, and self-esteem. Now, this is a hypnotic technique that I use with my clients. I get them to use their imagination, which is the domain of the subconscious mind, to see or feel themselves interacting with the world as a confident individual. And then I have them to repeat to themselves over and over and over again, I am confident. I am confident. I am confident, with feeling, and while imagining themselves interacting with the world as that confident person, man or woman.
Right. And this is where the law of attraction comes in, right? Because it's how you feel about what you say or think. So you have to get to that place. I mean, there are actions that you have to take as well to feel confident, to look good. I mean, for some women, it might be have to do with their outer appearance of makeup and hair and style and whatever, but it doesn't have to, as was just, what Helena just said about Marilyn Monroe, right? It didn't matter what she was in, she was still all of a sudden starting to be noticed. So if you're saying that, then you want to be feeling that. And I'm going to ask somebody to hashtag what you said, Helena, that the imagination is the domain of the subconscious.
Hmm?
I love that. So somebody watching, if you could just hashtag that, imagination is the domain of the subconscious. I love that. All right. Okay. So that's tip number 2.
Hmm. So the tip number 5 on this 10 tips to a sexier, healthier, wealthier life document is allowing your mysteriousness to shine. Now take a cue from the Mona Lisa. Now people find her to be very interesting. It is her eyes, her smile, or both. Now, so you see, she has a secret that she's not telling anyone. When you're out there in the world, hold on to a little secret and it'll just shine through your eyes and your smile.
I'm going to try that today. I'll be sitting outside at a coffee shop, so I'll just see how that works for me. I'll just kind of look off into the distance with a little smile or something.
That's it.
Yeah. All right.
Our next tip is make a deliberate visual statement. Now, all sexy people have a signature trademark. It can be subtle. They choose one and they do it well. Now, it could be their hair, their body, their voice, their walk, or an accessory, or their clothes.
Yeah. So for me, it's funny because today I'm not wearing red nail polish, which I usually am. I just went up for a change, but I'm almost 99% of the time wearing red lipstick because that's one of my signature colors. And you can't see, but I actually have red pants on. So, and my toenails are red as well. So I've always got, when I used to be out more speaking, all of that, I would always wear red or a jacket or something. So there's a deliberate visual statement that we can make. If you're in business, it could be about your business, it could be your business color, logo, whatever. But even if you're not in business, some people have very definite clothing styles that they have, right? Oh yeah, that's her style, or no, she wouldn't wear that, or that looks great on her, whatever. But it doesn't matter what it is. Maybe it's your hair, maybe you're somebody that likes rainbow colored hair, whatever it is and makes you feel good and sexy, then, go ahead and do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the vibe you're going to be sending out.
That's right. Dan, I have one more of these sexy tips for people.
Okay.
And it's tip number 10 on this document here that I'm reading from that I'll share with you if you type in the words 21 tips. love yourself first. If you don't love yourself, who do you expect to love you? So I want you to do this. I want you to look into a full-length mirror and say, I love me. I love me. And if you meet any resistance, then I'd like you to go back to tip number 1 on this document. And that's where actually the emotion code can really help people, is when you feel any resistance to when you're wanting to make a change. The emotion code is fantastic for removing that resistance.
Yeah, that's great. And it's funny, number 10, love yourself first. You know, I would say this facetiously, but a lot of people know me as the adorable one, because I always say to people, like I have friends, I just go, well, I'll say something to say, well, I am adorable, right? So a friend, when she emails me, she goes, hi, adorable one. And that's what I say in the mirror, like, I'm adorable, right? So whatever word feels good for you, like, I am adorable, right? So I like to say that. All right, let's move on, because
Okay.
so we're going to move on to some tips for a healthier life.
Mm-hmm.
And this is truly Helena's domain, because of her background in, you worked in a naturopath store.
Yeah, in health food stores, off and on for 20 years. I love the idea of herbs and vitamins and nutrients and using food. I think was it Socrates or one of the Greek philosophers? He was saying how let food be thy medicine. And I love that. But on this document, the tips for a healthier life, one of the tips that doesn't seem to get talked about a lot that is really wonderful is the idea of lymphatic drainage. Now you can do a manual stimulation of the body, a manual massage that when you do that a certain way, and I'll demonstrate in a moment, it's a natural way to drain the lymph nodes, which is where all the toxins get stored in. So if you have puffy eyes, you can give yourself a gentle lymphatic massage, and it works like this.
Let's do it.
Just do it. You take very, very gentle, maybe even your middle fingers, and you simply just gently massage like this, ever so gently, not pulling the skin. You're actually now releasing the toxins and the lymph and the extra fluid that's being stored underneath your eyes and down to your lymph. And you'll start to feel, even after a few gentle passes, that your eyes are feeling less puffy.
Even more adorable.
Even more adorable.
All right, let's carry on then. Oh, and healing herbs. You were talking about a low libido. So let's
I
talk about
was.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, when people, they may actually be shy with the word sexy or sex. And what I like to let people know is that everyone thinks that everyone else is having tons of sex, lots of sex, so much sex. Mhm. But maybe you're not. And I'm going to let you know that of the hundreds of clients that I've seen one-on-one and stuff, everyone has their own story. And some people aren't having sex, but they can still feel sexy, and they still have their romantic relationships. They have a relationship or no relationship whatsoever, but they can feel sexy. But if you are in a relationship and you are finding that there's a low libido in either you or your spouse, then it might actually be a hormonal imbalance in the body. And there's certain nutrients that people can take to regulate the hormones. And I'd like to share 2 of the herbs that are now quite easy to find. One of them is Maca. Comes from a root, I believe from South America. It comes in many different forms, in powder and in capsules. It's also mixed into a lot of elixirs and drinks now on the market. Also, the other one is ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is an herb that's wonderful for the adrenal glands. And when your adrenal glands are nourished and your thyroid is nourished, then your body is able to produce the hormones and bring your body into a hormonal balance where perhaps your libido comes back online. Years of stress puts the body into cortisol overload. It actually then could actually make your thyroid not function quite as well, and your adrenal glands. And it's amazing how just bringing in the right nutrients as well as stress reduction techniques such as mindfulness, meditation, hypnosis, self-hypnosis, all are great techniques for lowering the stress levels in the physical system, allowing your body to function and bring back itself into a homeostasis line so you feel your natural self coming back online.
And more balanced. So Helena, maybe you could write those names after in the
Yes.
post. And also, this is where Helena and I work a lot with people that are kind of stuck in relationships.
Yeah.
So oftentimes people might come to us, whether it's about weight or even with Helena, she is the stop smoking lady. But oftentimes when we get down those layers and layers and layers, they're just stuck in their relationship and they've got some very negative self-talk that's going on about them. Maybe they feel they're not worthy or they're overweight, so they're not attractive. I mean, you can be extremely sexy and you can be healthy in a larger body, right? I mean, not, and I see a lot of models that I think are just, you know, Celine Dion these days. I mean, she's just so terribly thin. I worry about her. I mean, I think that's the extreme, right? Is there is a middle path, but there's a middle path for your body, right? And what Helena and I are saying is that you know when you're eating nutritionally, you know when you feel healthy, you know when you feel sexy, and there are things you can do about it. But as I just said, Helena and I do a lot of emotion code work with helping people move through these trapped emotions about themselves or their body.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So that's just a great tip. So just because of time, I think we'll move on to a bit more about abundance and living a wealthier life. So if people want to get these tips and sheets that Helene and I are talking about today, you can do hashtag 21 tips and Helena will send those to you when you get back. And thank you so much, Corrine Beach Murray, for hashtagging imagination is the domain of the subconscious. I appreciate that. And thanks to our viewers today, Amanda Stewart and Camille Bohm and yeah, oh, Debbie Talbert is watching as well today. Hey, Debbie, been a long time. All right. All right, so let's go on. Let's move a little bit into one of my strong areas, which is law of attraction and abundance, right? So we know that how the law of attraction works for abundance, and this is where we're talking about a wealthier life. It doesn't have to do, it can though, but it doesn't have to do with how much money you've got in your bank account. You know, people that live very simple lives can feel immensely abundant and immensely grateful for what they have in your life. And my happiness has never been contingent upon how much money have in my bank account. Although, of course, I like to feel that I'm abundant. So it's much better to focus on what we do have than what we don't have, because then we go into a lack consciousness. But the law of attraction you'll attract to your life whatever you put your attention, focus, or energy on. And if that is anything that you're looking at, whether you've got $10 or $10,000, express gratitude for it. Be grateful for it, you know. Not everybody needs to live a big, massive life and be out there for everybody. There's nothing wrong with living a quiet life, a life that you feel good about, though. That's the whole point of what we're talking about today. So wealthier life. So one thing that you can do besides taking a look at the law of attraction being obedient, law of attraction has a job description, and that job description is simply to
match vibrations.
Match your vibration. So I'm going to go back to how this law of attraction works, how we get the results. Helena, you can talk about this. We've been doing this enough times now.
Yes. So the words that we use create our thoughts. Our thoughts create our vibes, our mood, our feeling. And Dana, there are only two feelings, positive or negative. And that then your vibe will create your result. So if you're unhappy with your results, go back to the beginning and check your words. Use different words.
And it's always the beliefs that you have, and I showed this one earlier, but it's always about how you feel about what you say or think. If you're using an affirmation that's not working for you, then change it or don't say it or just stop for a while, right? Law of attraction, we like to say, I'm in the process of, because it
Mhm.
takes away a lot of pressure. So just looking at the tips for a wealthier life, something you can practically do, track your income and expenses and look for patterns. Are you happy with these patterns? Years and years ago, my husband and I took a personal development course. Some of you might know T. Harv Eker, Millionaire Mind, Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. And I don't know, that must be 15 years ago. And he's actually the one that I actually do every week, kind of a balance sheet. It's super easy. I've set it up. I just check expenses. I check what revenues are coming in, and it's check, 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 check. Do I need to move money around or not? So I'm looking my money right in the eye. I'm not afraid of it. I'm looking at it. I'm thinking, okay, what do I need to do here, or what do I need to do there? So, and also here's a really important one. Helena's talking about the words you say. Instead of saying I can't afford that, switch it up to is, even here it says, say, how, I wonder how I can afford that. I'd like to take it further. This is what I can afford. This is what I can afford. Maybe you're looking out, you're shopping. This is just the first example that came to my mind. You're looking for something. Maybe it's $300 and you think, well, not quite in my budget right now, but I'm going to keep going back because this is what I can afford. And maybe you can afford $150. And lo and behold, you go back because the law of attraction, and it is now $150. That happens all the time to me, and I love it. So develop a wealthier mindset by asking different questions to yourself and notice the shift that you have. Helena, how about tip number 3? Do you want to talk about the subconscious?
Excellent. So tip number 3 is tap into your subconscious mind by speaking directly to it as you drift off to sleep each night. When you're drifting off to sleep each night, the last thought that you have is what your subconscious mind will work on all night long. So be please mindful of the words that you're saying, which thoughts that you're creating, because your subconscious mind is also obedient. It gives you more of what you talk about and what you think about.
Exactly, and that's the law of attraction. And check out what are your beliefs around money, right? Are you somebody? I know in several of the courses that I'm taking, they ask you to go back. What were your parents saying to you when you were being brought up? Money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford that. Not now. Who do you think we are? We're not rich. Or even people say money is evil. Well, really take a look at that. Is that really true? And are those your beliefs? Right? So we could go on forever with these tips, but if you want to get them, Helena, what are people going to do?
If you want these tips, just comment below 21 tips, hashtag 21 tips would be great. And I'll actually reach out to you and then I'll PM you with the graphics.
Yeah.
So you have all of the tips there.
Of what we're talking about today. There's actually a few more than 21, but that's what we're going to give. So we hope you've kind of enjoyed this as today, a little bit different. Next week, it will be a pre-recorded show. Helene and I are going to be talking about how the subconscious and the law of attraction work. So major changes can happen in your life if you understand how the mind works. And remember that it's such a small percentage that we're living in our conscious mind, and it's the subconscious mind under that iceberg that's actually driving what we're doing. So that's just great. Good. Yeah, so we invite you. Amanda Stewart's just saying, oh yes, I teach all of this in my mastermind. Absolutely, because it's all about what's going on up here. And this is where you empower yourself. If you've kind of been living in that victim mode of this is happening to you, or you're blaming other people for what's going on, well, Helene and I, our goal, whether we're doing an emotion code session with you or not, is we want to move you away from that mindset, and we want you to move into something that's healthier thinking, that it's really good thinking, that it's positive thoughts about yourself, because those vibrations that you're giving out are being matched by the law of attraction as well. So Helena, let's wrap it up. How can people get a hold of you?
People can get a hold of me through my website, which is Flourish Hypnosis /emotion code if you're looking for more of that. I've also got a YouTube channel and a Facebook page called Flourish Hypnosis.
Exactly. And Helena is one of Canada's leading experts in stop smoking. And how can we find that, Helena?
You can find about my Stop Smoking program at thestopsmokinglady.com.
Excellent, thank you. And I'm Dana Smithers. You can find me danasmithers.com/emotion-code. My YouTube channel is Empowered Women in Business. I have a lot of different playlists there. So check them out, Law of Attraction, all of our emotion code sessions. And we are on 82 or 83, Helene, I think. Wow, amazing.
82 or 83, that's a lot.
That is a lot. So there's a lot of really good stuff there that you can watch. So bye for now.
Bye.